3. I don't think there's going to be a 4th map finish at all. I think either Impact's just going to completely stomp them, or Unbreakable will fight tooth and nail to get to that 5th and final map.
We're saying it's all or nothing. Lord Beerus comes up, gets himself the first strike. See a lot of control starting to switch over. We got B and C being flipped over there for Unbreakable. So it's going to be Corrupt trying to hold that angle, and look at that. Unbreakable just comes out swinging.
Yeah, they got the early start. That's kind of how control can kind of work here. If you get the initial eliminations, and you're going to get the initial control, and you get the initial lead as well. The problem is once you build up those eliminations, you build up a streak, which means that once you're eliminated, you lose out a lot of points, and the team's able to catch up quickly. And again, like a really important factor is this is an international event. We got teams from Europe playing against teams from North America, playing against teams from Latin America, so you have to really adapt your strategy mid-game, and you have to have that strong knowledge of how to be able to do that and do it well.
Unbreakable still trying to hold down control point B. As you can see, Corrupt still trying to hold that angle on the outside of it. We're 286 to 258. That comeback that you were talking about with Impact, getting those points off of those chain kills, really starting to sneak them back up into there.
Well, if Unbreakable somehow win this, I feel like maybe the power comes from the baby powder. Because they're like the only team using it, right? If I'm not mistaken. Oh, no, we did
it always seems like the team on the left.
Yeah, we did see.
The left is always the one with the baby powder.
Yeah. Well, you know, maybe that's the key to victory. And as you were saying before, it's nice to see, like in all these different esports, how these little adaptations and these little nuances come into effect. That's the first time I've actually ever seen baby powder being used when coming to a tournament. But right now, Unbreakable have lost the lead. Impact have been able to finally claw their way back into this, albeit by a couple points. They quickly have it turned back and forth. But initially, we do have the control in favor of Impact right now. As you can see, A going to be turned over for Nokia. In the meantime, they're losing B, and I think C is not being touched at the moment.
A little bit of a contested point right around B, but yeah, it looks like it's just starting to be a lot of control coming out around A and C back and forth, keep bouncing as it's just B keeps getting contested. Unbreakable stepping up, taking a couple of shots, with Beerus getting down onto Aerial. We also have Nokia still trying to take down Gentrix as well.
And we've seen like typically when it comes to like this map, and typically when it comes to control, like one point typically B is the one you see a big bloodbath happen, constant battles non-stop between the teams, and then A and C are typically like back caps. And I'm curious to see if teams are going to adapt to that and leave a player there to hope to win that 1v1, because then you completely stop that entire aggression that comes out of them, and it allows you to focus more on that middle point. Lord Beerus in the meantime is trying to go for some shots. They're down by quite a few points now as Impact is starting to really build up some steam, really building up the momentum, and Unbreakable are really not showing signs to be able to stop this.
Well, we do have Jiren, and it looks like Lord Beerus trying to separate out, get two different control points at once, but that's just going to allow Impact Gaming to flush down right up on top of them. That's going to be 975 points coming out for Impact Gaming. Unbreakable back behind that with 775. You got J-Mai taking a couple of shots back and forth, looking towards B, but just can't quite get it.
You can see some really good dancing as well, trying to dodge away from those shots. It's not only important to hit your shots, but also important to make sure they miss those. You can see Venom on very low health, but the problem is Impact are 70 points away from closing out this first map, but Unbreakable are 350 points behind practically. This is looking like Impact is going to take this just based off eliminations alone. Jay going to be swinging around the corner trying to capture B for Unbreakable, but it might just be a little bit too late because the points are taken away here, Matchroom, and Impact Gaming will take map number 1.
Impact Gaming with a strong performance inside of that, really managing to rally up. Had a little bit of a rough start to that, but then quickly rebounded it back, managed to bring it back up there, get the victory off of it. Unbreakable, they had the momentum coming into this, but might not have it anymore.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, they have the ability that they're warm, right? Impact are going to be a lot colder since they're coming to this fresh on the stage. But I think a control map is like the best of both worlds for these teams because it's such an easy map type, considering you can die over and over and over again and still be okay. You can, you know, be down by quite a bit of points and still come back. There's a lot of mistakes that can be forgiven on this map choice, whereas if you go to like a TDM, which would be our 4th map if we get to it, mistakes are punished more heavily. So I think it's a nice little warm-up map for Impact. It's a nice chance here for Unbreakable, the team who's obviously going to be the underdogs in this, to have like a nice little warm-up into the way they're playing. And the fact that we're going to another control map right after this means they can take what they learned from the first map in the first mode and hopefully transition that into a victory for Unbreakable this time.
100%. Like we were talking about how Unbreakable came in right off that last round, so they should be pretty hot. But the analyst desk was talking about how Impact sitting out inside the rooms constantly, just chaining games, making sure that they were set and ready to go. So it looks like that was paying off for them. Now the question that I have is, Unbreakable, they're that split up roster where they have Nokia that's coming in. How do they lean into shot calling to kind of rebound off of this? Who do they follow? Are they going to be following Nokia, or are they going to be following Unbreakable's tried and true strategies?
I think it's more of a battle of, can Nokia, if they don't want Nokia to lead, it's more of a battle of like Nokia controlling himself, because obviously he's a very passionate player. You see him constantly on camera, always, you know, winking at it, doing his little hearts. But the fact is, sometimes you're going to have to take the back seat. You can't be the one in the forefront, and you have to let your teammates do what they know best. They've been playing together this entire season. They've been playing together in the spring season, and you're the newcomer. You need to fill that gap that they're missing, and it's really hard to do, but maybe for him, the gap is being the caller, being the vocal player for the team. And obviously with him having so much experience when it comes to LAN, so much experience in general, hopefully you can kind of look at that first map and figure out what went wrong and what went right. And maybe use that to turn into like potentially a map victory. The thing is, if they lose this next map, I think they'll be so down on themselves that they're not gonna have a chance when we come to Subway.
That's the problem. Whenever you've got one of those field players in there, it's really hard to keep morale up in those types of situations.
Yeah.
So you can see everybody's still calm, cool, and collected, but not the Unbreakable we saw from just a few rounds ago, where they were hyper energized, talking the whole time. They're still working out, trying to figure out where the issues lie. But you can also see that Nokia a lot of times just kind of goes his own way inside of them. We saw several times inside that last round where he was just pushing individual locations by himself. I feel it's like a level of trust that Unbreakable has in him.
I think it's also like, I think you'll typically have flankers on control. So I think it's actually like a perfect fit for him. It's like, okay, you three are used to working together, right? Try to make something happen on the other side of the map. And he's a very, very good player, so he's going to win a lot of these 1v1s and can do some serious damage in these 1v2s. But here we go into our next map. Unbreakable up against Impact Gaming. Currently a 1-0 lead for Impact. We move on to Europe Square, and look at this. All 8 players right off the bat contesting B.
Gentrix managed to get that first strike. As you can see, J-Max trying to hold on to that control point. Gentrix still looking off on the side of this, trying to find the right angle for it, but teammates managed to come in and assist with it. So now we got Venom that managed to take down J-Mai, but Gentrix looking back on that other angle, trying to keep as much control as possible as we're popping back over to A, and you can see the flush just coming in as Beerus is just strong defending this point.
And just really quickly, pulling some stats here about Gentrix. As a player we've been talking about time and time again when we've mentioned Impact Gaming. He's currently #1 in overall in Season 2 with KDA at 2.66. He's currently #2 overall in perfect aim with 80, actually I think he's #1 at 87%. And then he's also #2 in KD at 1.59. Like, this player has been outstanding over the course of this entire season so far, and he's definitely a guy you have to keep an eye out for.
I mean, he has just been a dominant force. We've seen him several times already just in these 2 rounds, showing up in huge fashion for his team. We got Lord Beerus still looking back over here, but Jiren's in a little bit of trouble. Managed to take down 1 before he goes down to the knife.
All right, so Impact, they have the lead in the early parts, in the early stages of this round, of this map. If it goes anything like we just saw before, things are going to get very difficult for them. A nice little 2v1 does happen. Corrupt takes down Nokia. They're going to be able to turn B around. They're losing C at the same time. But the thing is, I think they're actually so they're not capping A. A is going to be going the way of Unbreakable, at least maintained for them at the moment. So Impact are going to be the ones to make the decision of the next play. Nokia going to be flanking from behind. He's looking for the shots. He's in a 1v2. He can't quite connect every single shot in there. And Gentrix will get the better of him and will be able to take B and maintain it.
Talking about stats a second ago, you can see how they're stacking up there, as that was a great set of plays coming out from Gentrix. But we've got Unbreakable trying to come back over here and take point B, and it is just denied from him. Meanwhile, Corrupt still just trying to hold that other angle, as it's going to be a lot of control starting to switch over to Impact. This is a little interesting angles coming out here as Unbreakable finds themselves in the sides of Gentrix yet again.
Oh, Gentrix gets caught, I think, with the wrong weapon out, and actually tries to switch while trying to shoot at the same time. Kind of, unfortunately, causes his demise. But you know what? There's no demise in the score lead that Impact actually currently have, because it's continuing to grow. We're looking at 300+ points here with 2.5 minutes left to go. Impact are looking like that team we expected, looking like the favorites of the entire tournament. Gentrix again gets another elimination onto Nokia, and Impact are just unbreakable.
I mean, it's just a pleasure to watch Gentrix at this point. He just seems to know every single angle that anybody could be approaching from, and just has the right tool out to catch him at any given moment. I say that as Lord Beerus takes him down naturally.
It happens, right? You can't fully heal the entire time. Eventually, you're going to go down.
But we are at 1,150 points stacking up for Impact Gaming. Almost double the points of Unbreakable. It looks like it's going to be their round, and it is, as Impact now moves into a 2-0 lead over Unbreakable.
And the thing is, I don't want to like talk down Impact's victory so far, and I don't want to like necessarily over talk up Unbreakable. But when you're Unbreakable playing against that #1 team in the world, I'm gonna pretty much just say it. I mean, I think they might be able to prove it here today if they do win the whole thing. But you're playing up against basically the best team in the world with the stand-in. Haven't really been able to practice and build that synergy as much as you'd like to. You just got off the back of playing another match, which can work in your favor or against your favor, depending on what type of player you are. But even though the scorelines have been drastically different, I still feel like they're playing well, but Impact are just playing that much better and really showing that true caliber of their 4 players.
Well, we can see it in the cams right there. They're just so relaxed. They're like tapping around on the desk, chit-chatting, making jokes back and forth. And then there's the flip side of the coin right now where we're looking at Unbreakable, trying to rally, figure out whatever's going on. I'm like dancing right now, just not a care in the world. I think that you're 3-0.
Oh, he's doing 3-0, 3-0, yeah.
Okay, you wanted the trash talk. Here it comes.
I mean, you're beating one team that has a sub. You know, let's see if you can take on Forza or Enix later on. All right, you know, you're getting a little too cocky here. But the thing is, because they came in as a #1 seed for Mene, they immediately got $4,000 minimum.
That's
Third, fourth place. Yeah, that's not bad. I wouldn't complain about an extra, quick grand in my pocket. But if they win this, they go up to a minimum of 10 grand. So they over double what they can get. That would make their trip even better. And I think, I don't know, it's kind of something you see that affects people differently. Confidence can be your downfall, but it can definitely be the thing that really gets you going, right? It can be the thing that carries you through to a match.
It's one of those differences between confidence and arrogance.
That's true.
A lot of times people confuse the two of them. Like when you're confident, you just feel you can do it. Whenever you're arrogant, you think that you can do it even though you can't. That's one of the things my dad used to tell me. And so I was just like, he's like, always just try to be confident, not arrogant. That's
true. Well, we're going to see how it's going to work out for them. The shades, the watch, he's looking confident. I wonder if they're actually maybe listening to music as well.
The way they're dancing around all over the place, it seems like it. I mean, you can tell that they're linked into Discord right now.
Actually, I think I'm getting confirmation from production. He's listening to "I Want It That Way" by Backstreet Boys. So, credit to him. It's a great song. I'm not going to complain.
Glasses, right?
Yeah, I think he's got spice. I'm done. We don't need to talk about that anymore.
I was going to maybe join in, and I was like, nope, you took it too far. I don't know how to join into it. So now we got Subway Station. We're making our way over to. Remember, Impact is sitting on a 2-0 lead over Unbreakable right now and managed to make it straight over to point A, but look at that. Nokia managed to get the first strike back over on a bit.
So make the initial push. Impact, you saw them actually, they pulled away. Once they realized they lost the initial control, they pulled back. They're like, all right, you take the point. We're going to fight our way back in. Gentrix gets himself a nice little double, almost able to pull off the hat trick there. Jiren trying to snipe from range here, now trying to contest the point as they're losing it. So yes, maybe Impact lost the initial control, but we're going to see if they can maintain it and keep it back in their hands.
Sometimes it's not about every single victory. It's just making sure that you're rallying, playing around the system as best you can. The knives coming back and forth, but it's going to be very violent on top of that point. Back and forth, as you can see, Venom now pushing back over next to Club, looking for the angle around the outside of it, and there we go. Take down Jiren.
Thing is, there's always a saying I love to talk about when it comes to this. It's not about the battle, it's about the war, right? You might have won the battle, but you're not necessarily going to win the war because Impact are doing so. 250 points up to the 200. They have the lead, albeit 50 points and albeit one of their smaller leads so far over the course of the series, but they are continuing to grow this as time goes on. And eventually Unbreakable will be able to take the point back in their favor here. And it's going to be Impact to try to fight their way back onto it.
Attrition finally mounted a little bit too much for Impact as it's just turning out. Man, look at those shots coming out from Jiren. Right through the flashbang on top of it. J-Mine now starting to make a push over. Nokia looking back over. Turns to the other side. Just wanted to push over to A. Nice little pick up there. Corrupt taking some shots back over towards Nokia. And it's going to be able to... Actually, Nokia takes down Ariel inside the exchange as well.
I'm not sure if a lot of people out there get this reference, but I feel like Jiren really channeled his Ultra Instinct right there with the flashbang.
Dude, thank you. I've been sitting here, Lord Beerus and Nokia on the same team, and we have Goku on another team.
You cast it with Lethal earlier, and he doesn't know anything about Dragon.
See, okay. Now this is the wheelhouse that I am in. This is where we're going to go from here on out.
It's going full weeb now on this broadcast. We apologize.
Just got to embrace it, man. That's the way it goes. We're sitting at 592 to 450, right around that point right now. Still, you're seeing the lead with Impact, but it hasn't gotten too enormous yet. Inside the last time we saw this, it was almost double points. But
you did say yet.
What?
You did say yet, though.
Yet is the big factor.
Let's see. You can see Jiren trying to come around the corner, takes down Venom. He's going to look for Gentrix now. They have a 2-on-1, but he doesn't need it. Jiren takes down the two opponents by himself and a third. That's a massive amount of points. It's actually closed the gap. Unbreakable are fighting back into this one. Going to be tying things up in a few seconds. Jiren, the thing is, he doesn't really have anything to heal with anymore, so eventually he will fall, but the damage has been done.
Nice crossfire coming out from Unbreakable there, but got to spin back around as everybody from Impact is now making their way back over on that hillside. So now we've got 750 points coming over towards almost 700. Unbreakable managed to mount a little bit of a comeback, but Impact is just not allowing them to take it too much further, making their way back up the leaderboards, closing up on that 800-point mark.
Ariel tried to go for the flank around. Didn't really work out for him there. They had more than enough players, of course, to respawn for Unbreakable to catch him off guard. And even though Unbreakable had a great run back, they clawed back about 200-300 points in difference. They are falling behind yet again, though. They're starting to build up. The point is still in their hands, but it's going to be turned over in a few seconds. Jiren's going to push up, looking for another shot. He's hit the shotgun back out. The shotgun's doing some damage, but it's not going to be enough as Venom gets himself a triple. And Matchroom, we're basically 250 points away here from Impact taking the series 3-0 and getting to the finals.
Lord Beerus managed to sneak up right back behind him, though. It's just shotgun after shotgun, but it looks like it's going to be Impact that manages to walk away with that one. As you can see, the hands up in the air, asking for the money.
Yeah, 250 points. I was misreading the scores. There was 50 points away, and they've been able to do it. Look at that confidence. They have to be happy about that one because they looks like the best team in North America. They look like potentially the best team in this tournament, and they've gotten their finals berth, now their grand finals, securing a minimum of $10,000, and more importantly, getting one step closer to qualify for the next Gods of Boom.
I mean, that was just one performance. Yeah. They never even rushed. Like, even in that last round, you saw the fact that points were taken from them. They managed to regroup, realize that they had control. Where you're just like, okay, we push on these two different angles, we go at the same time. They didn't even care about losing a couple of points here and there. They were always after the overall victory.
That's a shame too, because there's a lot of great individual performances for Unbreakable. Jiren, like he did fantastic work, getting like triple eliminations time and time again, constantly putting in the damage he could do. But unfortunately, it just wasn't going to be enough in the end. And Impact proved to be the better team, at least today. I wonder what would have happened though if Deathface was here, the original quad lineup of Unbreakable. But if ands and buts, you're not really sure how it would go.